Syed, happy to see you again. We were met at the Seamless in Riyadh, and we already talked at the Dubai Seamless a couple of months ago about the furniture market in the home and living market in your region. So what was the feedback on the podcast so far? I think it was your first podcast appearance a couple of months ago.
Alex, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity again. It was one of the nice conversation we had during your Dubai trip. I remember how you were trying to cope up with the heat in Dubai, and you were seeing the different part of things. Yeah, of course, that podcast was amazing. I got a lot of good reaction from my friends and peers and all that. So we had a very good interaction. I could imagine the kind of understanding you are trying to have from a Middle East market, and yeah, so things have been very, very good. And so far as your question is concerned, that how things have changed, of course, the good thing is we are away from the COVID. So at the time also it was just about finishing, but now things are there. And as I told you earlier, during the COVID, one of the industry which got a huge uh, positive movement was the home segment, because home become one of the most important thing in everyone's life. But in the last 1 year or 6 months, when the COVID is gone, you have seen that how Europe was crazy in terms of traveling and all that. So priority has changed for the people. Now they're focusing more on the traveling, more on the education, wedding and all that. So home has taken a little bit of back seat. And so therefore we are a little bit struggling with the overall the business numbers, but now very hopeful that things are coming back in the shape.
But like from a business number perspective, would you say that you will reach at least 2019, 2020 numbers? Because in Europe we see some furniture, home and living businesses, especially the online ones, that are kind of really struggling, and some of them like are falling even below the pre-COVID level. Where's your level?
Yeah, Alex, you know what? It will be very foolish to compare what numbers we have done in 2021. I was talking to some people around, they said they're into the industry from last 60 years or 40 years, some old veterans in the US, they said they never sold furniture in throughout the life what they have sold in 2021. So now what we are looking is we are looking into the range of 2018 and 2019. So, but for us, our first, we are in the level of 2019. And fortunately Dubai is not getting affected the way rest of the world, because Dubai is a country which believes in the opportunity and creating the opportunity. Now so because of Russia and Ukraine, so a lot of people are moving to Dubai, so you get a population influx here for the high net worth people. Number two is that the FIFA is coming in. Qatar, so Dubai is getting a lot of positive benefit out of it, because a lot of people will be traveling in and here. So there is a huge influx of the business in terms of holiday home and Airbnb and all that. And likewise, we'll talk more about the Saudi. So Saudi is booming, huge land of investment. So there's a lot of companies, they make their setup out of UAE. So on those cases, there is a positive side. So we are looking into the 2019 numbers.
Okay, so and you already mentioned Saudi, the Saudi area. So is it different somehow there? So obviously the experience in Dubai is kind of very unique, and I totally understand that when the World Cup is coming to Qatar, that like many people will stay in Dubai and travel via plane back and forth. But there's a whole like Saudi thing that seems even more further away, like from the core European markets. Is the shopping behavior, the furniture behavior, the home and living styles very different from the rest of the UAEs?
The largely in the Saudi, if we talk about, that is a much more matured economy in terms of the businesses, where the kind of numbers they do and the kind of demographics they have. So it is a very, very different. And Saudi was little to be more conservative society, but in the last 5 years, the kind of transformation they have and the way they are moving out is one of its kind. And I didn't travel for Saudi for 3 years during this COVID time, 2.5 years. When I went 6 months, 3 months before, it was altogether a different experience. Now the Saudi, what Dubai has achieved in the last 20 years or 15 years, Saudi want to achieve that in the next 5 years. So if you go to Riyadh or Jeddah or Dammam, the main cities of Saudi, from 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers stretch, they have demolished all the old buildings and they try to create the new structure and new building where they want to give a new skyscrapers and new kind of the things. Yeah. So there, and as beside that, They're developing the city within the city, where they have a NEOM, they have a Red Sea projects, which is coming out altogether different, one of the best, one of the greatest of its kind, and which the human, in our history, we have never heard of all those things what they're making. So therefore, there is a huge influx of the overall economic boom out there. But in terms of the shopping behavior, yes, it's very different. The reason being is that today, when you see the UAE largely, here you get a lot of floating population. People come, work, and go back. But in Saudi, your ratio between the expatriate and the local people is very different. So 85 to 90% of the population is the local people. So the people who live there, and their disposable income is also very, very high. And it is one of the most richest oil economy. So all these factors, increase the overall vulnerability as well as the overall prosperity of that particular country. And when the overall the government or the rulers are much more in the positive side of growing the business, then it gives the impact much more higher. So if you will see, the majority of the e-commerce company of Dubai as now, they made their base in Saudi as well. So the economy is stronger, the disposable income is high, the demand is much more better. So then of course there is a much more positive impact out there in the Saudi.
Interesting. And you will be at the keynote stage at the Seamless again. And this little interview is actually to prepare for this kind of keynote stage. And obviously, I'm looking forward to learn more about this this market. And it feels a bit like China 20 years ago, where everything was like moving super, super, super fast, and where money actually didn't play a big role. So I'm really looking forward to thesis with my and experiences with my own eyes. But what will your keynote be about?
Yeah, Seamless is always an amazing event, which really gives a good opportunity for connecting minds, connecting people, understanding there and all that. So here I will be talking as a specific presentation about the conversion in the online, and how do we connect the customers and try to make best of the ROI. Because today, during the COVID time, a lot of companies have moved from offline to the online. Online is no more a choice; it become a compulsion for the people. But now the post world of your no third-party cookies, and your overall, when your customer acquisition cost go high, as well as your your fleet cost or transportation cost or the delivery cost is also high. Manpower, retaining the manpower is also not that easy, because that is one of the difficult tasks today to get the right talent. So in all this scenario, one of the biggest important part is, what is your conversion? How do you retain the customer? How do you market the product? So the kind of experience we had in the last 2-3 years, where we have 5x our revenue, and but whereas your bottom line is not increasing, or the bottom line is struggling. So if you want to make the bottom line better, the one of the biggest tool which you have in your hand is, how do you make the better acquisition cost? How do you increase your conversion? So I will be talking about that, understanding the overall Middle East scenario, our own experience, and how do we want to take it forward with the better customer acquisition cost.
Looking forward to this speech. And last question here for this mini podcast: do you know the share in the home and living segment in Saudi, online versus offline? So how many people are shopping via e-commerce versus the brick and mortar retail experience?
Yeah. So right now in Saudi, the online share is only 5.5 to 6%. So that is primarily because, still today in Saudi, now the entertainment is coming out. If I can tell you something, for the people, the biggest source of entertainment is going to shopping. So you go to any of the shopping malls, so there was no cinema. So either you eat or you go to shop. There is no other avenue of the entertainment.
So it's still like it's an experience still going shopping.
Exactly. Okay. And again, the product like furniture, where you need to have a touch, feel, understand the product, and doing all that. So it takes much more thing to how do you shop it from there. So that is the situation.
Nice. Definitely looking forward to see the experience with my own eyes. Syed, thank you for this intro, and gonna see you then in a couple of weeks from now.
Thank you very much, Alex. It is always a pleasure talking to you. Looking forward to see you in Saudi. Thank you.